Morning, guys. Happy Friday. I want to do a pod here on Shane Hennen and this betting scandal. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's worth a read. Do about 10, 15 minutes on it, give my thoughts because Shane himself, an interesting character, but the scandal has a chance here to rock the sports betting world in a way that no other scandal I can ever think of. It involves a lot of college universities. It involves back to the Jonte Porter incident from last year. If you remember that, the G League player who came up to the NBA and there was irregular betting on the under in his props, which led to him being arrested, expelled from the NBA. And now Shane Hennen is purported to be behind bars in Las Vegas since January 12th. Pat Ford broke the story for Sports Illustrated a few days ago as court documents were released that showed that Shane Hennen was arrested at the Las Vegas International Airport on January 12th, attempting to board a flight to Colombia to presumably avoid prosecution here because he looks as guilty as one can be. He's fascinating. Like I said, I'll get to him to kind of end the pod, but what he's about to share and what eventually is going to come out is way more fascinating. So let's make the wild part about this story is he was arrested on January 12th, but according to, and he's got five co-conspirators, four of them have been named, but according to all the documents, authorities say that while Shane has orchestrated this and they believe he's the mastermind, he has not yet been charged, quote, as he negotiates a plea deal that could shed even more light on the bombshell betting scheme that compromises the integrity of both college and the professional game in regards to the NBA. So he hasn't actually been charged. It goes on to say he will eventually be charged with wire fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering, the document states. But if he's negotiating a plea deal, that suggests that maybe he might be the main target for this particular investigation. But as we all know, there's always bigger fish out there. And he certainly is not the biggest fish here. If somebody in the NBA, if somebody at a university, a coach, or some sort of faculty member is aware of this and they swept it under the rug, this has a chance to blow the sports betting world and turn it upside down. There's so much money to be made. So many people are making a lot of money, so many companies. It's hard to imagine that sports betting would become less available at this point. But this one's a big one. It involves 9 different universities. It involves back to Jonte Porter. Like that one is really rocked the NBA. The NBA was trying to be like, yep, Jonte Porter, bad guy, it's over with. But now there was a picture that came out that showed the Shane character with one of his co-conspirators front row at a 76ers game, which doesn't mean anything, but it just, man, the conspiracies are going to start amounting here. People are going to dive deep into his bets. There's a lot of bets that were released here in this article that show he had to have an edge. I mean, he had to. He's betting 300,000 on the first half of a Winthrop game. He was betting first halves on Temple several times where Temple would cover the first half and then not cover the second half. This has trickled down to the University of New Orleans has suspended 4 of their 5 leading scorers since January 27th. They haven't played in the past month. In relation to this, the university is using vague language, but by all accounts, it's related to this gambling story. 4 of their 5 leading scorers haven't played, in a month. Fresno State suspended 2 of their top scorers or 2 of their best players because of this scandal. Eastern Michigan is involved in this. Temple. I mean, this one is Mississippi Valley State. It's all low-level D1 schools that Shane and his co-conspirators allegedly thought we could get away with because it's not Duke, North Carolina. Doesn't mean that we won't find out it's Duke, North Carolina, or pick a top 20 team. But at this point, it's not dominating news because it's lower level schools and it's Jonte Porter. And then there's something about Terry Rozier in there, but the NBA has said they investigated it and didn't find Terry Rozier compromised in any sort of way. So more to come. I will talk about it probably next week. Is I can't imagine they're going to be able to sweep this under the rug. And Shane has got to know a ton. Shane himself, and this is where I'll finish, brought me back to my old world of selling sports betting advice because Shane, the reason he's being charged with money laundering is in part because he is running, a legal business of sports betting advice. Where if you go to his website, um, what's it, sugarshanewins.com, you can spend $99 for his play of the day, $199 for all of his plays that day, or $999 for a week of his plays, which that I've seen that before, right? Like that's old news. I've talked about this plenty of times. Those are the people you got to run away from. Like that is a complete red flag. However, in his situation, it's even more complicated because he's got select games where he knew who's going to be on the right side of it. Do we think that if you bought advice from him, would he give you access to those games? I am skeptical of that. I would probably argue that it'd be in his best interest to give the opposite side out. So line movement would potentially move. You keep the circle nice and tight. I can't imagine he would be willing to share that information when he has these inside fixed games with the general public that are buying his picks. Don't know, but I've never heard of him, which it's not like I'm proud that I know a lot of these people, but considering, the depth of his organization, I'm surprised that his name never popped up or I never heard of it. And I believe in large part because this was used as like a front. I doubt that he was trying so hard to sell picks as much as he wanted to take attention away from what he was doing and pretending to be a professional gambler and somebody that knows what they're doing is apparently the angle he took, when in reality, I don't know what the relationship is, right? There's a lot of innuendo. Are the players going along with it? Are they blackmailed? What was the arrangement? Who's getting money off of this? Who knows? All the different things are bound to come out because he's been arrested, and according to the article, he's negotiating a plea deal. So he hasn't even been charged yet. He's been sitting in jail for 6 weeks. It begs the question of, will all of this information get out? And, if you follow the news, generally speaking, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, how many times does a news story come out and we're just so busy as people and we have so much information coming at us that we just let it go? Like if you ask people what happened at this particular school shooting or what happened on New Year's with those terrorist attacks, most people, if they weren't directly involved, it's like, I remember that. I remember where I was potentially when I heard about it, but I don't remember if we got to the bottom of it. I just don't remember. It's something else happened and then this happened. And I believe that's kind of what happened with Jonte Porter last year. Just kind of, sketchy, but it didn't involve Kevin Durant or LeBron, so we forgot about it. And now we got Division I schools throughout the year where we're hearing things about Eastern Michigan and Temple, and it's like, all these teams suck though. It's not affecting the national championship race, so who cares? Now, what will Shane share, and will it be in the best interest of everybody? Sports books, universities, gambling companies, advertisers, to be like, yeah, this Shane guy is a crazy mastermind who did it all, and we put a stop to it. Let's get back to betting parlays. I don't know if it's going to work. I know that that's probably the motivation of a lot of business people right now to get this story out of the headlines, but I don't think it's going anywhere. ESPN reported on it. We got March Madness is coming up in less than a month. This tournament's going to start. There's a lot of eyes on a lot of different things. So stay tuned. If you want to read the article, I'll post a link to it, but you go to Sports Illustrated. Pat Ford wrote the initial one, and then ESPN did a follow-up that included the New Orleans University and their scandal going on. So lot happening and fascinating to me, frankly, to see where it all ends up. So I wanted to get my thoughts on it and bring it to you guys' attention in case it's something that you wanted to read more about. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll have working on some different things to figure out if I can get on the right side of these games. I didn't want to force anything yesterday. So we'll see what we got tonight. And then tomorrow's a big day. And I'll, see you guys I'll maybe do the pod in the morning. I'm not sure. It'll depend on, got a lot going on first thing in the morning. I want to make sure I get the bets out. But if I don't do a pod tomorrow, we'll get one out here shortly. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a good day.